Hello everybody, my name is Mo. I've lost over 140 pounds and I did it in under 6 months just by consuming the right foods, and so have hundreds of our clients as well, so that means you can too. And in this video today, the goal is to walk you through nutrition labels and FDA recommendations, and we're going to talk about what has worked for our clients and what has not worked. And as we've seen this happen in so many different body types, shapes, we know it works every time, specifically if you just put in a little bit of the effort and read some of these nutrition labels. But in order to read them, you're going to need to know what they mean, right? You need to know what these numbers mean and what these percentages mean. So I really want to deep dive that into this video. So today, first step, we're going to focus on what are nutrition labels based on. Nutrition labels are basically based on FDA's recommendations, and this is assuming a 2,000 calorie diet per day. Now, the problem with this is it's not a one size fits all, right? But they have it set up that way. This does not count for all of our individual body types. And without our body types aligning to what we're consuming every day, if we're following their daily recommendations, but our body should only maybe have 1,000 calories a day because we're very sedentary, right? Then these numbers are all skewed and mess things up. And as we go deep dive into this, as you'll see later in the video, there's actually more holes and more problems with how this does not actually fit our daily requirements, and it's just done on old math and terrible science. But let's go through it, okay? So besides the one size fit all, they've also got outdated guidelines. Now, all these FDA recommendations, they rely on really old research, and that doesn't actually align with current findings and how things have been moving, specifically with how processed we have made all of our food. And with that much processing that occurs, our bodies have to do a lot more work to clear out these foods. So the problem with their pyramid, it was done so long ago that you're not actually going to have up-to-date research, okay? So the foods pyramid, it was done on old research. What actually made nutrition labels, or where they got the original guidelines, is that it was pushed on by the food pyramid. And as many of you guys know, I actually do not believe that the food pyramid is correct. The one that I have seen is when you flip it over, because right now on the food pyramid, we're breaking down the values. It is literally 45 to 65% carbohydrates is their daily recommendation, with 20 to 35% fat and 10 to 35% protein. These numbers are big. And the problem you kind of have here is that they're very skewed. And again, they're not a one size fits all. And we even do that with our events and our retreats. All our people don't necessarily eat the exact same macros every day because everybody is different. But the food pyramid was one of the biggest influences on the FDA's recommendations for the nutrition label. Now, how they did that is they kind of introduced the food pyramid as the gold standard. This is what needs to be followed. And they basically emphasized high carbs like bread and pasta, and then limiting the number of fats. And I do believe this came from Axel Keys. And if you actually look into that research, it is all old, wrong research, and he made a lot of guesses, which caused the pandemic. And you can see so many videos on this online right now. You can find some on YouTube that literally explain how with those studies and those recommendations, we've basically caused this obesity epidemic nationwide, worldwide, and it's just been compounding year over year, which is a big freaking problem. So because of this gold standard and this backwards thinking of higher carbs and lower fats, it becomes an outdated model. And the high carb, low fat approach is now finally being questioned and increasingly reversed by many people like us and nutrition experts. So the healthier approach is by maybe reversing the pyramid, and that might actually be a better support in giving you better fats and proteins and lowering the carbohydrates tremendously. So let's go over the numbers one more time. It's basically 45 to 65% carbohydrates, and they're assuming that carbohydrates is the primary source of energy. Now, again, that doesn't work for, I would even say, more than 99% of the people. All right. 2, fats. You've got 20 to 35%, and they really recommend low fat, and I think again that came from Mr. Axel Keys. Now, proteins are 10 to 35, and that they're basing that based on someone's lifestyle for being active or not, which isn't a terrible way to do it, but at the same time, I think fats and carbohydrates are more of an important number to focus on. Now, their daily percentage values are extremely misleading. This is why I think that. One, they've got generalized assumptions. Their daily values are not actually considered for individual metabolic health person by person or if somebody actually has insulin resistance, right? 2, it has a lot of bad blood sugar impact throughout the day. You're getting high carb recommendations and you're being told to consume them throughout the day, which gives you spikes in insulin and hardcore cravings for more food and more consumption, making it harder to lose weight. But on top of that, you're putting yourself in a cycle to continuously gain weight. And then lastly, if you actually flip the pyramid, it prioritizes fats and proteins, and that could actually support weight loss and metabolic health. So that is extremely a misleading freaking number, percentage daily value, all thanks to their history that they have this set up with. And this is the best way to use the nutrition labels more effectively. Okay, so first thing, I recommend you ignore the percentage daily values that they have listed. Those don't matter at all. You need to just focus on actual grams of the macronutrients that you're consuming and not the percentages of the labels. You need to look at the numbers of what you're consuming. And then from there, you'll take those percentages for the day to do your calculation. I hope that makes sense. 2, you want to personalize the macros, right? So you need to determine what your goals are based on your personal lifestyle, whether it's just weight loss or muscle gain if you're sedentary. And when you're working with us, we give you those lists of questions. Those questions allow us to determine what we give you for macronutrient numbers. And if you're doing it at home, my recommendation to you is just to get started and test on yourself. It does take longer, but at the end of the day, it's okay. You'll be able to do it, and you can do it for free at home, just consuming the right ingredients. Then the next thing you need to do with these nutrition labels is focusing on whole foods. Prioritize unprocessed foods, you guys, which often do not have misleading labels. And on top of that, if all the ingredients are natural and they're not a bunch of hard words that you cannot pronounce, then you're more than likely protected in what you're consuming. Even if you're not following the lower carbohydrate lifestyle, you're still going to have a better, less disease. You're going to be less adverse to disease over time, which is a good thing, right? Now, the most important thing when you're reading the labels is go through the number of macros you're consuming, not the percentage of daily values. You need to get the carbohydrate and double check the serving size to it, plus get the protein and the fat number. And what I mean by double checking the serving size to it is if it says on the label that it is 1 can, and 1 can is 4 servings, but it gives you per serving, let's estimate 5 grams of carbohydrates. If you have 4 servings in the container and each serving is 5 grams, then you're going to multiply the 5 times the 4, which would make it 20 grams of carbohydrates in this example. Same thing with protein and same thing with fat. And as long as you calculate those and start tracking those daily, you're going to be able to determine what percentage is working best for your body for weight loss or muscle gain. And you also need to calculate, are you going to be more sedentary? Are you moving more? Are you having more events? If you're doing things like that, you might need to raise some of those percentages and really try to calculate what works best for you, okay? It's 100% doable. You can do it from home. There are tools online that show you if ingredients are natural or not natural. I'm still a believer in removing all sugars, even if they are natural sugars, but some people don't, some people do, and it's okay. It just depends on the person and their goals, right? And that's, I think, the most important thing. It's different for everybody, so don't push everybody to do it the same way, or else you're kind of just screwing yourself. Focus on yourself and how your body reacts to the ingredients, all right? We are now offering you a chance to enter for a free monthly coaching or a free retreat, and we will do the drawing once a month. You can also enter once a month by using the link below. We'll see you in paradise, and we'll see you on the other side of your weight loss journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me say this, if this has opened your eyes about nutrition labels and the FDA's outdated, stressful guidelines, then make sure you subscribe for more insight on taking control of your own health journey. Let's challenge these old terrible standards together and find a healthier way to actually fuel our bodies and stay healthy for the long run. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.